Yep, this painful condition is forming on millions of tongues after giving birth, and there's no cure for it. One woman was terrified when she noticed mysterious, deep, and severe cuts.
I know a couple people that had some of those cuts since birth. I got some relatives that had cuts like that in their tongue, but they never caused no complications. The doctor always said it was just normal. But let's see what this guy got to say about it.
On her tongue that would start to rot in between the cracks, causing her teeth to rot as well, with doctors saying that this condition could result in inflammation, fever, or complete removal of the tongue. And if you notice these symptoms, you need to start to go to the ER right away, as the conditions have been spreading and it's currently affecting a whopping 1 in 20 people, and that number may be growing. Those who have it claim they have to monitor their discomfort and need to avoid eating certain foods, saying,
I don't know, that'd be pretty freaky to see that. That look extreme. It look like a whole sponge on their tongue. They walking around with SpongeBob the SquarePants in their mouth.
It's very painful. Known as a fissured tongue, it can cause complications and at a higher risk of that if not cleaned between the cracks.
This is called fissured tongue. It affects about 2 to 5% of the population, and these grooves can get deeper with age. The number one thing you need to know is that these grooves need to be cleaned out very well.
Often coming from pregnant people who have vitamin deficiencies or malnutrition and then passed on to the kid.
That look like that can be used on some kind of cloak technology.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys see this, but every day at this time, when the sun sits in a certain spot, this appears on the building across from me. See how it just went away and then it goes away? It's like, is it Hebrew? Somebody told me something. Did you see that?
It can be something that's on top of her building or something, but it definitely looks like some kind of ancient writings of some sort. I don't know. Y'all leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think.
Then if the sun peeks through at this hour, we get that. Anybody know what that is? Anybody? Please drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm like, is this a message? Is it Hebrew? Is it alien? What does this mean? It's just a coincidence? Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. Tell me what you think.
look at him. Can you imagine that much pressure on your face at one time? Or just pressure on your body?
Could fool's gold soon become pretty valuable? Lithium has become one of the most important elements of civilization. It's everywhere, from batteries to phones to treatment for bipolar disorder. We could also use it to make tritium, which will probably be a fuel source for a nuclear fusion. But extracting lithium is difficult and harmful on the environment, so a new study out of West Virginia University has proposed that a replacement method could be pyrite, more commonly known as fool's gold. They analyzed nearby shale samples, which are very brittle sedimentary rocks that contained organic matter. In that was pieces of fool's gold, and in that was lithium, like a matryoshka doll. Basically, fool's gold working with the organic matter in the shale appears to play a role in making lithium. Sourcing lithium through fool's gold in shale would be pretty easy because gas and oil companies are already doing it. The shale oil can be refined into gasoline. Since these companies are doing all the work and they don't want the fool's gold, which again is what contains these lithium deposits, we could just take their discarded leftovers. It's like killing a lot of birds with one stone. Look, I don't entirely love it, but humans consume resources. This is part of the cost of civilization.
Now, what kind of imagination do you gotta have to make something like that? That's a complete meatball with a toenail, look like the pinky toenail, wrapped in pube hair. That's crazy. Imagine waking up at night and you see a bed full of those. Now he took it too far with that snot, slobber, where it is coming out the nose and mouth. And then he put it in a vase?
We all witness the moon only illuminating the local clouds around it. That is because it is also a local light, but one with opposite effects from the sun. As we can all agree, shade from the sun is cooler than direct sunlight. But did you know the moon's shade is actually warmer than direct moonlight? The moon produces cold light, something the science priests must have forgotten to teach us all about in school. Not only that, but at times we can see stars through the moon, proving it is not some solid rock 238,900 miles away. In the 60s, true science regarding the moon was the shadow band topic of its era.
The moon is not a piece of rock, but it is plasma, cosmic plasma. Gravitational theories are out, and the new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved. This fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation. The result will be profound and decisive, because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. And
the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
well, that will never happen.
People actually believe they walked on the moon. talked with Nixon, played golf, drove a car, and planted a flag.
If you really believe that Neil Armstrong took the first step, then why do you give any credit to the cameraman already there waiting?
These guys were all U.S. military men coerced into acting. They wanted the money and power that came with the deal, of course. The problem was, they were terrible actors. They couldn't even pretend.
I mean, how terrible was it? They did get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, didn't they?
To be excited, knowing they were lying to the world. But the show had to go on. Michael Collins and Neil Armstrong rarely spoke in public about it, but there was one man not shy about lying to your face. The spokesperson for the Apollo deception.
It's my pleasure to present Colonel Edwin Aldrin.
No handshake, hug, smile. Their facial expressions are similar to those experiencing constipation, not celebrating an accomplishment.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with a great sense of pride as an American and with humility as a human being that I say to you today what no men have been privileged to say before. We walked on the moon.
I mean, they couldn't pay them enough to look up and smile? Society has always debated these planned Apollo events since day one, never imagining then that almost 50 years later, they haven't had the balls to fake another.
They do look dull every time you see them on camera. How y'all feel about those moon missions? Some say we went, some say we haven't. Let me see your debates in the comments.
Space is not real, and they actually record these spacewalks in underwater pools.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, you can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Like, now sometimes you get water in the helmet, and it's either from sweat or from the cooling garments. And on some of my spacewalks, I had like water in the helmet, not like I was going to drown in the helmet, but just little bits of water probably came sweat. Often on the outside of the space station, you'll liberate little pieces of it's a really harsh environment out there. The outside of the space station can beat up pretty good. And sometimes, you see just those flecks of paint or something that you might have disrupted floating away from the suit. And, that's generally what that is. I've never seen any kind of air bubble anywhere.
Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out there? All right, well, I just encourage everyone to look up bubbles in space, #bubbles in space. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We live under the firmament that was spoken about in Genesis chapter 1. The sun, moon, and stars are all inside of this firmament. There is no outer space. They lied to us to hide God's creation.
That's a quick way to get your leg amputated. Oh, look, let's eat that, said no one. like more jobs is going. But it definitely helped the farmers out a whole lot instead of being out there using all that manpower, especially in the hot springtime. Imagine getting ran over by one of those tires. Turn you into gushers on the ground instantly. Hey, that background music make you want to drop a quick freestyle, don't it?
Scientists have rejuvenated the skin cells taken from a 53-year-old woman, making them equivalent to those of a 23-year-old.
The breakthrough was made at this lab in Cambridge. Diljit Gill added chemicals to the skin cells of a 53-year-old woman. He could scarcely believe his eyes when he studied them under a microscope 12 days later. The technology is based on techniques used to create Dolly the cloned sheep more than 25 years ago. She was created from an adult cell that was rejuvenated all the way back into an embryo. Those behind the latest research believe that they have now made a significant step forward.
Do y'all know how many people about to be lined up for this? If they talking about it, best believe they already doing it. But I don't know. I wonder what the side effects would be. Because you know it always come with side effects.
Dizziness and fainting and oily anus might come with taking this. But anyways, you're going to be all messed up if you...
One of the craziest thoughts that could ever cross your mind in the middle of the night is the thought that in that moment, there could be people out there actively dreaming about you, and you would never know it. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that seems like it would be rare, right? I'm here to tell you that is actually more likely than you could ever imagine. Humans have been asking this question for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Where do the strangers in our dreams come from? Do we make new people from scratch? Do we combine the features of real people to make a new imagined person in our dreams? And the sleeping brain create unique people that the waking brain has never seen before?
That's a good question. I want to see where she's going with this.
Well, I'm here to tell you that the dominant belief is that every person that we've ever seen in our dreams is actually a real person from the real world. Apparently, the human brain cannot create new faces. So the people that you see in your dreams are recollections of people that you have seen in real life, but just might not remember.
Maybe you only saw them on social media.
Or maybe you saw them when you were just taking a stroll downtown or something. If the strangers in your dreams could just be from people that you saw on Instagram and someone you passed at the grocery store, certainly someone could also be dreaming about you after seeing your photos on social media or passing you in a grocery store. Craziest part is that you'll never know. There could be hundreds of people dreaming about you on any given night. You will never know.
I see a lot of people in my dreams. Strange looking people, beautiful looking people, all types of people. But I think that's pretty dope how your brain, your subconscious use people that you see as extras in your movie in your head at night.
Knowing what you know today, if there's one piece of information you could take back with you into your past to potentially change your future, what would it be? One of the most common answers I came across was Bitcoin. People wish they would have invested their money in Bitcoin when the price was low. That way they'd be rich today. If it wasn't Bitcoin, people wish they would have invested their money in another type of cryptocurrency or just in the stock market in general. A lot of seniors wish they would have known the Social Security Administration was not going to be able to fully support them. They would have put their money into another retirement plan. Young adults wish they would have known that getting a job in today's time wasn't going to be enough to support their cost of living. They wish they would have kept those lemonade stand earnings instead of spending the money on video games and junk food. They would have taken that money and invested it in Bitcoin. A lot of people wish they would have known that pennies can be worth way more than pennies. Instead of throwing them out, they would have kept them. More people than you expect wish they would have stood up their first date with their current spouse. They wish they never would have went on that first date. They wish they never would have gotten married. A good handful of people said that they actually don't like being parents and they wish they would have used protection. If they knew they would have hated being parents so badly, they never would have had kids.
I know some people that probably think like this, and I know some bad kids, so I can see why they think like this. Some of y'all probably got them bad kids.
Parents were saying they wish they would have listened to the quote "time flies" and actually understood the magnitude of what that means. Another really common answer stems around tragedy. A lot of people wish they would have known that an accident was going to happen just 5 minutes later, and they wish they would have waited those 5 minutes to possibly avoid really tragic events. Many people who lost loved ones wish they would have said "I love you" more. A lot of other people mentioned wishing they would have taken their health seriously. They didn't realize they'd be in the situation they're in now and think that their diet could have helped avoid chronic illness. Another really common piece of information people wish they could take back into their past with them is that quitting isn't as bad as it seems. Whether they were quitting a job they hated, dropping out of school even if their family didn't approve, or quitting substances and smoking, people wish they would have quit sooner.
What's something y'all take back or do over if y'all had the choice? Saying that y'all take back those badass kids is insane.
Alright guys, due to popular demand, we're diving back into the prison planet. And if you didn't see the previous videos, it's just all about how this Earth, this experience, we are tricked into constantly reincarnating through the tunnel of light so that our negative energy can be harvested. Essentially, everything is designed to be negative. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a researcher, Wayne Bush, and the 10 signs that he believes prove that we're in a prison planet. His first sign is the fact that we are born ignorant. We are born with no knowledge. Where did we come from? Where are we going? Why are we here? We know none of this. And he believes that's incredibly inhumane. Now, many people that believe in reincarnation state that if we remembered all of our previous incarnations, it would be overwhelming the amount of information we wouldn't be able to live. He postulates that that is completely untrue, that it is necessary information for us, and the fact that we don't have it is a form of like psychological terror. This lack of information leads into point number 2. I have so many videos coming up. We're going to look at Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam. We're going to look at other things like psychedelics, remote viewing, and what they say about the prison planet. How do we escape? What does it actually mean? So make sure you follow. We are programmed and conditioned how to think, what to believe, and this starts from a young age. We are not taught to turn inwards, but rather to turn outwards to external resources, people of authority, religion, whatever it may be. This teaches you to not think for yourself, and he believes is part of the programming so that we will constantly come back. Number 3 is the insane amount of pain and suffering that occurs in this world. There's disease, there's famine, there's torture, we're hurting each other, trafficking, genocide, war. We're taught how to get ahead is to take advantage of one another. He also postulates that we're designed with pleasure and pain centers in the body, but the maximum amount of pain is way more than the maximum amount of pleasure that we can experience. Number 4, you can just look at the food chain. How you gain energy is by consuming the energy of a lesser being, right? I mean, you don't have to look anything further than how we farm animals to think, well, could we possibly be farmed? Is Earth a massive farm where our energy is being consumed? This 5th piece of evidence is just the insane amount of deception and secrecy at the top. The global elites give us no information. Nobody knows what's going on. It just adds to the confusion. Number 6 is the fact that our bodies are a literal prison. Our eternal spirit, our consciousness, is crammed into a body that limits where we can go, what we can do. These bodies are bound to Earth by gravity, and we have 2 options. We can either be homeless, or you can join the system and just play the game. Number 7, sleep. Our energy is constantly running out as if we've been designed to be these rechargeable batteries. According to him, the fact that we are constantly tired or constantly needing sleep shows that something is consuming our energy beyond us. Number 8, the lack of disclosure or transparency or connection between all the major religions. He believes they've all been designed to trick you. I personally disagree with this. I think there is a lot of connection. You just gotta look for it. Number 9, paranormal accounts. He believes that near-death experiences, pre-birth memories, remote viewing sessions, alien encounters, all are manipulations designed so when we die, we see the tunnel of light, we keep coming back. Why do we need to keep coming back? Because we produce loosh. What is loosh produced by? He states love, friendship, family, greed, hate, pain, guilt, disease, pride, ambition, ownership, possession, sacrifice. A lot of that. On a larger scale, it's nations fighting, provincialism, wars, famine, religion, machines, freedom, industry, trade. Essentially all of our energy is just being consumed, right? And finally, point number 10, if we have the capabilities and ability to create AI here on Earth, how do we 100% know that someone didn't create us as artificial intelligence? What if this is a false reality? What if we're all just a part of a game? Anyways, that was Wayne Bush's 10 points that he believes proves why we're in a prison planet.
It do feel like we in a prison of some sort. Maybe like we doing time for something we did in our past life, and then us crossing over is just us doing our time and getting out.
So y'all know how we're supposed to be getting swarms of trillions of cicadas that was last seen when Thomas Jefferson was president over 200 years ago? Yeah, y'all remember when they was talking about that a couple weeks ago? Well, this is the first sightings of the cicada swarms. They have now started to pop up in some places in the US. And the craziest part about this is the pre-wave. This is not even the first wave. And I know some people have been saying that they see little clusters of cicadas.
Y'all imagine walking outside and seeing clouds of cicadas? And dude misspelling the hell out of that, ain't he? Or mispronouncing. Listen to him.
Cicadas like this, little small clusters. But this is nothing nowhere near what we're gonna see in the weeks to come. Just letting y'all know, it's starting to wake up. And these are the areas inside the US where these cicadas will start to emerge from, basically taking up 50% of the US.
Why haven't we made contact with aliens yet? This is the reason why. One of the biggest questions is there alien life out there? And if there is, why haven't we made contact with them yet? Because surely we must have done. Well, there's a few different possible explanations, so let me know in the comments down below which one you think is the truth, because it's got to be one of them. First of all is known as the zoo theory. Basically that the aliens see Earth and us as like an attraction and a zoo in their bigger zoo. It's off limits, they genuinely don't want to come here, but they are just free to observe and let us do what we're going to do. Next is the Great Filter theory. Basically the theory that all other intelligent life died in mass extinctions. We are definitely the next in line. Then we have the Great Silence, which is pretty damn terrifying. The aliens believe that they are literally just far more advanced and more powerful than us, therefore we just aren't even worth their time, can't even be bothered essentially. This also links in with the incubation theory, which is genuinely terrifying, which basically suggests, yeah, they're not really interested in us at the moment, but they're waiting for us to develop until a certain point in our evolution, so we're, advanced enough to their liking, that they will then just come and take us all and use us as slaves, and maybe even harvest us for certain things. So yeah, brilliant. That's absolutely great.
Hi, I called a moment ago about an accident in cases, and they said since it's private property, we have to just exchange information, but what do you do when they don't have their insurance? I will have to send an officer out to you. Give me 1 second, okay? Okay, because it's her mom's car. So I just got to go back to work because I'm on lunch and I don't know what to do. Okay. 10-4. Alrighty.
It's not the question of knowing the address, it's knowing what's going on. Oh, you stupid.
Okay, what's your address? Or where are you at? I'm so sorry. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Casey's off of Jenny Lynn. I cannot spell K.
Well, I don't give a call the manager. God.
Robot athletes, the next big thing in sports? Well, there have been some recent AI breakthroughs that have made this a possibility. Let's jump in. Like most industries, sports is being heavily disrupted by technology. Don't get me started on VAR though. And any kind of advancements in technology get heavily discussed by fans and experts alike. One hot topic is whether AI-powered robots could compete with or outperform humans on the playing field. Well, just this week, Google DeepMind released a significant breakthrough in this area. They trained tiny off-the-shelf robots how to play soccer using deep reinforcement learning techniques, and the results were amazing. Just check these out. They're dribbling, shooting, defending, getting off the ground, doing all aspects of soccer. Now, they may not use this to obviously play soccer in a more professional setting, but they might be using these techniques for factories or building things or storing things, and it's pretty impressive what they've done in just a short amount of time. Well, that was really cool from DeepMind, and it was a significant breakthrough. Experts believe we're at least another decade away from robots performing at the same level as athletes, and I think the big thing has to do with their vision, motion, motors obviously, and their decision-making skills. There's also a lot of doubts whether humans would want to watch robots competing against each other versus watching humans. There's been a long-standing rumor that the Saudis have been getting into sports because they realize AI-generated content is coming, but humans still want to watch sports. And this makes a lot of sense if you look at chess. Chess has been beating humans for a long time now, but we much prefer to watch Magnus beat other humans. So in reality, the near-term impact of AI on sports is in coaching.
I don't know, it's kind of like AI music. Like when you listen to AI music, you can tell because it's like something about having the soul behind the words. So it's like watching that soul. It's more about the energy than what they doing and the capabilities, really. But it'll be neat to see.
Analytics, and most likely training rather than competing against robots. So what are your thoughts on watching robots play your favorite sport? What if your favorite team rolled out a squad of robots? Would you watch that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and follow me for more AI news, trends, and tutorials.